To know the real reason you're getting rejected, today I'm going to be reviewing some of the job seekers' resumes that recently reached out to me after putting out this post. So I get inundated with messages from job seekers struggling to secure job interviews. They're confused, they meet all of the requirements, but for some reason they're still getting rejected when they apply. Now it's a challenge so many job seekers face and something I address in my Career Growth Accelerator program. But today I thought I would share some insight from a recruiter who is reviewing resumes daily. Now if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that before my career coaching days, I also co-founded a recruitment agency, Huxley Morton, focusing on the placement of professionals in the life sciences sector. Now today we will speak to my business partner James Fowl, who heads up and manages the agency. Now whilst I focus on the career coaching and outplacement side of the business, James is still very much involved in the day-to-day recruitment side. Reviewing hundreds of resumes a week, James really knows what sets a good candidate apart from the rest. So let's dive in and hear what James has to say when we review some real job seeker resumes against positions they have recently applied for. Would he put them forward if he was recruiting for these positions? Let's find out. Okay, so let's jump into our screen share here. Now, can you see that okay, James?
Yeah, all good my end.
Perfect. So I've redacted all the names and obviously their address details, etc. But this particular person, job seeker that sent this through to me, current job title is a payment processor. And this is the job that they've sent over to me that they were going for and didn't get. So it's an associate financial advisor. So looking at their resume as an overview, I mean, have you got any initial feedback?
My first question, so you said that their current job title is payment processor. I can see on their resume, I know you've scrolled down now, but if you go to the top, it just says full name. So did they just have their full name, no job title up there?
No job title was at the top, no.
Okay, so I mean, that would be the first bit. The first thing I look at as a recruiter is, can I see what I'm looking for? You know, I never go out and look for a specific person. Well, actually, sometimes I do, but on the whole, if I'm looking to recruit a financial advisor, not really my field, but if I were looking to recruit an associate financial advisor, what I'd be looking for is that title on a resume that says financial advisor. Kind of make like I mean, I know us recruiters get a lot of stick, but that's pretty simple, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess in terms of the layout, I mean, one thing I often say to the job seekers on my program is keep it simple. And I would say even this with the two columns, I tend to find that columns can throw the ATS system off. What's your experience with that? Would your ATS system get confused by these two rows of columns?
Yeah, so I've worked on various CRM or ATS systems in the past, and all of them are a little bit different. But anytime there's tables, graphs, columns, it can make things a little bit more difficult for the CRM system to pull up historic data. And sometimes I know that there's a particular individual that has a skill set. I'll type it into the CRM and it's not coming up, and I then have to manually remember it. So yeah, often that is because that information is in a table or a text box or something that may look visually quite appealing, but just gets overlooked or not seen by the automation tools that we use. So yeah, you're spot on.
Now the other thing I'm noticing about this is objective statement. Now, again, I often say don't have an objective statement on on your resume. Recruiters, talent acquisitions, they know you want the job or they know you're looking for work. You've applied. So yeah, I mean, I always say professional summary there, and that really in that professional summary should be highlighting where you meet the requirements for the job. What do you like to see in that kind of top opening paragraph or bullet points that people have on their resume?
Exactly what you've said. You know, an objective statement, I look at it and think, in the nicest possible way, I don't really care what they're looking to achieve. I care about, do you meet the requirements that I have for my clients? Because my clients are paying my fees, They want a specific level of experience, skill set, etc. So people can cram all of that into their top piece, so to speak. I'm kind of like, I don't really need to read too much more. So objectives, yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Bit of a waste of time, and almost, yeah, to an extent, even listing those skills there, that's great. But how do I know that how has someone actually used them? I mean, anyone can write a list of skills.
Exactly.
I want to see how they've maybe been used.
Yeah, and that's what I say as well in terms of skills. Don't just have a list of skills. Can you weave them into your resume under your professional experience? The financial planning piece, where in his previous jobs as a payment processor, an accountant, or as a sales team lead, did he do financial planning, and you know, where can we see that under each of those positions? So rather than just have skills listed out, I would definitely try and weave them into the professional experience side of it. But let's look at the job description. So I mean, obviously, explain to me, James, how it works from a recruiter's side with having a job description. What's your understanding of the jobs that you're hiring for? How in depth is that understanding, or are you just going off the job description?
Okay, so it's a bit of it's a broad question, but on the whole, so look, I'm an experienced recruiter in my field.
Right.
I've never recruited financial advisors, but my process would be exactly the same. So I don't know what, the skills and everything would be here, but I would be working to whatever brief is given to me from the client. So I would take the job description and I would scroll to the responsibilities or the requirements and say, okay, what is my client looking for, which is normally at the bottom of any job description. So I can see a couple of things there.
I guess here it would be, who are you, right?
Yeah. So like anytime I can see numbers, like that always pulls me in, because normally it's,
so they would like
2 to 3 years of experience
in providing financial advice to clients and achieving sales results through advice-based conversations. So I'm guessing financial advice is kind of the word you're going to be looking for in there, right?
Yeah. So I mean, again, it comes down to that job title piece that I said right from the outset of, that if someone's got a financial advisor at the top of their CV, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at a financial advisor. As a payment processor, I'm like, does a payment processor, sounds quite manual labor-ish. Again, this isn't my area of expertise, but doesn't necessarily say too much about advisory. So, and that's only from January 2023 to January 2024. So that's 1 year of semi-related experience. Prior to that, there was an accountant.
2 years an accountant, and then prior to that,
which is related, but not advisory. I mean, I've got an accountant. They don't necessarily give me advice. They normally confirm stuff that I want to do, and a sales lead again. So I'm not necessarily seeing and 3 years of financial advisory.
No, and I've put financial advice in there. Can't see it. I mean, he's got that as a skill, financial advisory. But again, obviously, as we just said at the top of the conversation there about his resume, that he's put that, but there's no context. We don't know. Was it 2 to 3 years of financial advisory experience? Again, he's going to be completely overlooked for not meeting that requirement, I'm guessing, because again, he's just put financial advisory, but with no context behind it, no how many years of experience. So he may well have that experience, but it's not explained well enough in his resume. I can see it at the top here as well. Committed to financial advisory excellence. Again, it doesn't really say anything. I could write that on my resume. It's not very clear.
I can see one thing there, Lucy, in the bullet points for this individual's thing, where it says manage 40 plus daily customer support calls, enhancing customer satisfaction through effective query resolution. Now, that may well be advisory, but I would like them to see the terminology or use the terminology that my client is using. Because as I say, look, this isn't my area of expertise. I've never recruited this before. But if I can see that the candidate has the skill that my client is looking for, I can match those two together and say, okay, it's worth picking up the phone. But out of hundreds and hundreds of applicants I'd probably get for a job like this, I'd probably move on from this applicant just thinking, do I really want to spend 20, 30 minutes on a call to try and understand that, when I'm sure there's going to be, out of hundreds of applicants, someone who just puts financial advisor, 5 years experience as a financial advisor? I'm like, okay, thanks very much. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Job done.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the key thing as well, isn't it? Remembering there are other people in the running for these jobs, and if they're doing a better job of highlighting where they meet the requirements, like you just said there, you're going to go for the easiest option, right?
Of course. And a couple of, I'm just looking at your screen here. I note that the accountant work was, it says just company name. I'm assuming that you've redacted
Yeah,
that.
I took the company name out.
Details, but that was in India, and I can see on the requirements that everything relates to Ontario, Canada, and there's a few acronyms in there. So again, without knowing the job inside out, I would, as a recruiter, I'd probably be searching that CV for those acronyms. So
Right.
CIFC, DFSA, CSI, to see if this individual ticks those boxes, so to speak.
DFSA, let's see. No, that doesn't come up. And that is exactly what I tell the job seekers on my program, is that you need to be highlighting what it is they're looking for in terms of the key requirements. What's the minimum skill set you require to get this job? And there's always an argument, well, I don't meet all the requirements, but it's a little bit of common sense needs to come into, well, if you don't meet the 2 to 3 years experience in providing financial advice, I would say that that's kind of a core level skill that they're going to be looking for, and not something that they'll accept people without. That would be my opinion on it. I mean, when you're speaking to clients, what sort of core skills are they looking for?
It really depends on the job, and that's the thing. Like, you could have an incredible resume sometimes, but if it's not relevant to the job that someone's applying for, it's irrelevant. I think it's just coming back to your point about common sense. Like, using my own common sense here, I can see that in the objective statement that this person has noted that as an IFIC certified professional with an MBA. So that bit is probably relating to that CIFC, because I'm guessing certified IFC. That from the top there, and you're scrolling down, but that's in the job description.
Yeah,
that's probably the same as. So again, but I would want someone to use the exact terminology that the thing is, because again, I'm always busy. I've got so many applicants, and I don't want to have to read between the lines and pick up the phone to everyone, because there's just not enough hours in the day to hop on a call with.
But it looks like it is. When I scroll down to the bottom, he's got certification investment funds in Canada. So I'm guessing that is, but he's just maybe used a slightly different acronym.
Yeah, and the main thing is there's a few things here that don't necessarily. It's not jumping out to me, and I certainly can't see 2 to 3 years experience. So, I mean, we've discussed this in quite a fair amount of detail. There's not a hope in hell that I probably would have given this much attention to this resume if it had landed on my desk for this requirement.
Well, let's leave that one then and move on to the next. But hopefully people can start to see where a recruiter is looking and why this person hasn't met the requirements for the job on face value, looking at their resume, but maybe maybe they are qualified, but they certainly haven't presented that very well here. So let's move on to the next. Okay, so the next one here, they're going for an observational research senior manager, and I redacted this one again, but I didn't see a job description at the top here, which again, obviously you pointed out is what people should do. And again, that's something that I always advise to people to do. Put the job title of the position that you're going for at the top there. So she's got oncology research advanced practice nurse experience. So let's scroll down and see what the requirements are. So
that looks like it. Basic qualifications.
Basic qualifications. So their basic qualifications are a variety of either-ors of degrees by the look of it. So let's scroll to the bottom here to find her degrees. So she's got a Master of Science in Gerontology, Oncology, Advanced Practice. So master's or degree and 6 years of related research and scientific experience.
I know they've also put the dates on their qualifications there. I guess sometimes that can bring in age discrimination, because this is 2021, which again, your biases can kick in. I'm thinking, oh, right, if they only graduated or they only done this in 2021,
yeah,
now we're in 2024 now, are they going to have the level of experience needed? Because I can see on that job description that a bachelor's degree plus 10 years. I know that we're talking about a master's degree, but
she
a
just
master's plus
scraped
6
that.
years.
I think she just scraped that because that was in 2024.
Yeah.
But then they are looking for a master's degree and 6 years. But she could have got the 6 years experience before doing her master's, because she has.
Okay, yeah, it could be, but I would maybe.
You want to make it
highlight
really
how many that you meet those requirements in your professional summary, and then you can take the dates off, because again, it may well create that unconscious bias where someone looks at it and be like, oh, well, if they only graduated then, they don't look like, because as I say, when I'm juggling like hundreds and hundreds of applications, the split second decision is just like, okay, look, I've already seen someone that I know matches this, move on. So it's you don't necessarily need to put graduation dates.
Right. And then doctorate in epidemiology. So I'm guessing, or other subject with high observational research content. I'm guessing we'd be looking for the word epidemiology in there.
I would be, yeah.
But it does say other subject. Obviously, clearly, the oncology and gerontology side of things is where her experience is made up. So, yeah, maybe that could be a
this is more my field, and I know that oncology is always a sought after experience, so that would certainly go in this individual's favour. But again, at the moment, 2024 job market, one thing that I see with all of my clients, Lucy, is that if they are an oncology focused organisation, they want oncology focused people. If they're a CNS focused organisation, they want CNS. If they're epidemiology, they will want that, because there's so many applicants on the market. So if this person was wondering, and we'll go from, I'm guessing, the rest of the things in a second, but this person was wondering why they felt that they met all of the criteria and didn't hear back, I would say, look, don't beat yourself up too much, because that's probably one of the things that factored in on this one anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm looking at experience in design, execution and analysis of observation research studies. So I'm guessing we're going to want to be seeing the words observation research, or I've just put in observation and I can't even see that. I mean, that was even the job title. So again, I would be recommending if she was working with me, I would say that she needs to get that observation research word in there.
Probably as that title again, right?
As the title, but also assuming that she has done that as a job. And I would say if she hasn't, because I'm seeing that word come up time and time again on the preferred qualifications, because it's even got it down here, experience in observational research, project planning and management. If she's not got that experience, it's a non-starter. And yeah, again, it's here.
You said this one is a senior manager, Lucy.
It was an observational research senior manager, yeah.
Because again, just looking at the job titles of this individual, I've got oncology advanced practice nurse, clinical nurse specialist. Don't really know what that is. I know they're all aligned jobs. Oncology research nurse coordinator. Now, I would be looking for the word manager somewhere. That's probably like, again, they want a manager. Let me look for a manager. So I'd be searching that CV for manager, management, leader, led.
And where she's going for the senior manager role, you would probably want to be seeing a manager role prior to that, right?
That natural progression type of thing. Again, like as a senior manager, you're probably going to get a whole host of managers applying to this. They may not all have that epidemiology experience, but kind of once it's like, do you have this and this and this and this? And it's almost, I almost play a game of kind of top trumps of okay, this person, how many boxes can I tick? Because the more I can tick, the happier my clients are going to be. Whereas if I'm constantly trying to fit a square
Mm.
peg into a round hole. They're like, you're a typical recruiter. You're just trying to give us anyone who
Anyone.
loosely fits the
Mm.
requirements.
Yeah.
And half the time, some people can fit the requirements, but my clients don't know that. They're not going to necessarily trust in, every recruiter. Where I've got good clients, they'll take my word for it. But other times, they don't. They just want it. They want to see it as much as I do.
Yeah. And I often tell my clients, job seekers, to do like a traffic light system. So look at the preferred qualifications and run it as a traffic light system where you go through each bullet point. Red if you don't meet the requirements, amber if you're kind of halfway there, and green if you absolutely do. And if you finish that exercise and there's too many amber or red on the document or in the mind, it's probably a non-starter, as just a kind of way of analysing if you're going to meet the requirements. But again, spending a little bit too long on this one. So in terms of layout, I would say, again, get rid of these columns because it can throw off any ATS system. The licenses and certifications, I normally say to my clients to have those at the bottom, and skills and highlights. I guess in clinical research, having those as just the term at the top is usually useful. We say therapeutic areas as well on the clinical research side, highlighting those is good. But I would just definitely make sure, if you're going to include those, that they are included in the body of the resume under each position where you were doing those skills or achieved those skills.
Definitely. And there's a professional summary on this one, but again, it doesn't necessarily seem to highlight too many achievements, and there's a bit of fluff, and I can see that it's titled as a professional summary, which I prefer, and it starts that way, but then I can see I'm seeking a position where I can use my skills and experience. Again, I know it sounds horrible. I don't care. I want you to help me, and it sounds so selfish, and I almost hate saying it, but like, I don't know this individual at the moment, like their full name, MSN, like there's no connection between me and this piece of paper. So, when I get on the phone with people, I'm happy to, open all that up. But when I'm receiving 200 plus resumes for every single job, it doesn't mean anything to me yet as a recruiter until I get on the phone. And that's, I guess you just need to use that resume, I guess. And this is your game to put yourself in a position to have a real life conversation with a person.
Yeah. And what I usually say is make sure that your resume is about what you've done. That should be the focus of your resume. It's all about your historic work experience, what you've done, what you've achieved, and how, certainly in that professional summary, how that meets the preferred qualifications of what they're looking for. And that professional summary should be tweaked with each and every position that you apply for. And people hate hearing that, but that's the honest truth. You have to tailor your resume to stand a chance of getting an interview these days, especially in today's competitive market. So I would take the objective statement off there. Now, I, in my opinion, I think that you can on your LinkedIn have a small objective statement, but I would always say in your about section, lead with a kind of professional summary type piece on your LinkedIn, and we'll save that kind of LinkedIn side of it for another day, but just while we're on it. But if you wanted to put what type of positions you're seeking, I would say LinkedIn is more of the place for that, as opposed to your resume, which should be more about what you've done. But we'll leave that one there and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so we've got this. This is the final one we'll review because I'm just conscious on time. So this one is for a medical research assistant, and this person is a clinical medical assistant. So yeah, arguably they've kind of ticked the job title there.
Not as a title though at the top though, was it just first name?
It wasn't, again,
to start with, or?
None of the CVs that came in for this review had that. So again, if I was advising them, that would be the first thing that I would advise, is to have the job title next to their first name at the top there. They've titled it then career summary. Again, career summary, professional summary. Either's fine, I guess.
It's not a career summary. It's an objective statement. They've titled it as a career summary, but then it says seeking opportunities.
Yeah. So
again, I've said it a couple of times. Won't even say it again. I want to know: do you match the requirements of my clients?
So let's look at the requirements for this job and take a look at it. So, okay, so this position looks like it's an entry-level position because the position requires at least a high school diploma or equivalent, but individuals with college degrees or experience in healthcare and or relevant research are preferred. So definitely a more entry-level position. The RA must possess excellent clerical skills and good interpersonal skills and must be able to provide accurate documentation. So again, there's not too many tangible requirements for this one. It's
no real hard skills or experience listed at all. So it's either a flaky job advert or it doesn't require loads of hard skills experience, which means there's probably 1,000,001 applicants who will fit because it's hard not to.
Well, it's funny you should say that. It's funny you should say that because this candidate actually did get an interview for this position, but he didn't unfortunately land the job. But I mean, if I were to suggest doing his CV again for this, he's already got experience in this type of role. So I would definitely lead with my professional summary, again, not objective statement, professional summary, lead with the years of experience that he's got. Lead with, I think as well, they say that they're going to provide for phlebotomy training, but he's actually already got that. Again, that would be a massive tick to this company because they wouldn't have to pay for him to have that training again. Certified phlebotomy technician, again, that was only a recent one. So again, I would be highlighting all of these things at the top of my professional summary: X amount of years experience, phlebotomy certified, and things like that. Again, just to really hone in on the fact you've already got a lot of the skills that they even say that they're going to train you on. But yeah, again,
this one looks fairly reasonable. All the job titles are aligned. It's one column. As I said, I don't know like the intro seeking opportunities. I know.
And the dots and sort of line bit around the title again. I keep it simple. Keep it simple. That's my motto with everything. I do have a resume template which you can download. There's a link on my LinkedIn profile and I'll pop a link at the bottom of this video. It is very basic, but it gets the job done. It's an ATS bulletproof resume. It will get you through the ATS system. And it looks very basic, but it really does work.
Yeah, I mean, for this guy, Lucy, as I said, like, there's not too much required and therefore it would be hard to rule this person out. And that's one thing that I guess as a recruiter, holding my hands up, I'm often looking to do is I'm not looking to rule people in because it's quite hard to go through someone's resume and say, oh, okay, they've done all of this and I've read it and I understand it, because it's, I'm a recruiter. I'm not an expert in clinical research. I'm not an expert in financial advice. I'm not an expert in whatever it is clients are looking for. So I'm very much focused with what I do, but it's easier to rule people out. So if a client says they're looking for X and I can't see X on a resume, it's like, done, I'll move to the next one. If a client is looking for Y and I can't see Y on a resume, I'll move to the next one. It's very easy for recruiters to rule people out. And I know that there's an argument that job seekers always say to me, yeah, but I've done that. But if I can't see it, I don't know. Is kind of my argument. So yeah, hopefully that helps for your network and your audience.
Definitely. And it's good to see that we're aligned in terms of what we know works, in terms of what you need to put on your resume. Hopefully this gave you some insight into what recruiters are looking for when reviewing your resume. So if you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment below. And if you're new around here, subscribe to be notified of more videos like this helping you land your dream job.